Okay, with Valentine's Day coming up, you may want to know how to dip your own strawberries because they're pretty expensive if you buy them in the store, but they're very easy to do. And this is all you need. In fact, it's more than you need. You need strawberries that are dry, washed dry, and at room temperature. It's very important that they have no moisture on them when you dip them. Part of the problems that people have when dipping strawberries in chocolate is if you get even a drop of moisture in your melted chocolate, it's going to seize up and then it will not work. So you're going to use some melting wafers. It doesn't matter the brand, but Ghirardelli is a good brand. Guittard is my favorite, but it's hard to find. Sometimes Winco has it. But Walmart has the Ghirardelli wafers, and they're very good as well. You might need to have a little bit of coconut oil on hand or Crisco. If your chocolate is too thick for dipping, sometimes happens, then you can add like a half a teaspoon of coconut oil or Crisco to thin it down just a little bit. You don't want to add too much. You want a microwave-safe container to melt the wafers in. If you're going to tint wafers or chocolate, you need to make sure you're using oil-based coloring. If you add vanilla, again, that's adding a liquid, your chocolate will seize up. This is if you wanted to tint it pink or whatever. We're not going to do that today, but I just wanted to caution you about anything you might add to the chocolate wafers. If you wanted to, you could sprinkle something fancy on them after you take them, after you set them out. As long as the chocolate is still wet, it will stick. And let's get to it. This was one whole bag of the Ghirardelli chocolate wafers, and that's 10 ounces. The reason I don't use chocolate chips is because that doesn't give you as smooth a finish and shiny finish as the wafers do, and you want it to be pretty. Chocolate chips are made to stay hard for cookies and things like that, but they're not the best for melting. Now we're going to put these wafers in the microwave for 30 seconds to begin with, and then we'll stir them a little bit and then go in 10-second intervals. You need to be a little patient. You don't want to scorch it. So let's go for 30 seconds and then we'll give it a stir. Okay, at 30 seconds, it doesn't look like much is going on here, but we're going to stir it up. We just have to be really patient. When it gets closer to being done, then we'll do 10-second intervals. Okay, after the second 30 seconds, we can see that they're starting to melt. Just keep stirring it. Like I said, just be patient. And we don't want to wait until it's all melted. We want to get it close, but the last little bit will melt anyway. And we don't want to overdo it. Okay, you can see after just 10 more seconds, it's really started to melt. It looks pretty thick. I may need to add a little bit of coconut oil to this. I'm going to add just about maybe a little less than a half a teaspoon of coconut oil. The white chocolate I'd recommend doing at 50% power. It scorches more easily than the brown chocolate, and you don't want it to do that. So use 50% power, be patient, and it will get there. So this is pretty much the texture you want when you're getting ready to dip the berries. Take it and dip the berry almost to the top, and then scrape the bottom a little bit. Set it down. Now, if you were going to add some sprinkles to it, you'd want to do it right now when the chocolate is still very wet. 1 pound of strawberries was about 19. I had to throw one away because it wasn't good. But the rest of them were all good. So I got about 19 good strawberries out of a pound. You could also dip it in the white chocolate if you wanted to. And I use the white for decoration. I'm putting these on parchment paper. Oops, that one, that happens. That one got a really good dipping. Setting it on parchment paper, wax paper works, a silicone mat works. It doesn't have to be parchment paper, but you want a non-stick surface. This is so much more economical than buying them already made. Should be able to get it done in 30 minutes. These will keep 10 hours at room temperature. I'd not recommend freezing them because then we'll have condensation, and water is an enemy to chocolate, so you don't want to freeze them. But if you're in a hurry to have them set up, you can set them up in the refrigerator. Now you can take the white chocolate and just drizzle it. I added a little more coconut oil to it, so it will drizzle a little easier. Now you're asking, what am I going to do with all this leftover chocolate that's melted? Well, I can't think of anything better to do Then pour it over some bananas and put them in the freezer, because frozen chocolate-covered bananas are a wonderful treat. You can mix a little peanut butter in with it if you want. These will go in the freezer, and I just eat them frozen. Great late-night snack. Hope this helps. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the way they turned out.